Welcome, I'm Mick, an ordinary lad, and this is Sovereign Warriors.
Statement and expectations, PR19. Now, the PR19, if people look into this, means price rating.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to page 9, Principle 1 states, okay, that the water companies should basically, not, I'm trying to think of the words to the effect, but they're basically saying try to negotiate the best price that the customer
So basically,
is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Now, they're the key words.
Yeah.
What the customer
Willing to pay.
is willing to pay.
Yeah.
So I wrote back to them and I basically said, you're governed by Ofwat, they're the regulators, and I've come across this policy
Yeah.
that we're not supposed to see, so the public not supposed to have access to this.
Yeah.
Okay, this goes out to all the water boards across the country.
Yeah.
And it states in there, like I say, the customer is willing to pay. Well, I'm not willing to pay while you're administering these poisons into the water.
Yeah.
So they totally ignored it. Didn't even write back and address that point. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I understand. Yeah. Haven't we got an obligation to pay for the water, pay any bills? Have we got any obligation to do this? Because I keep getting personally on this channel, people will send a message and say, well, pay your bills, arsehole, like everybody else, sort of thing. And they're missing the point. Are we actually obligated to pay these bills?
We're not obligated to pay. Okay, they can't prove the obligation. Now,
why are we not obligated, if you don't mind me asking, if you can explain it?
Yeah, I'll explain. So
Yeah.
you're not obligated to pay. So they're providing a service. Okay, that's what they say. They're providing a service. Now, any service agreement requires a contract. Now, when you ask for a contract, or if a contract is needed, if they come out and they openly tell you that there is no contract, and that's what they put in response to my notices over these last 2 years, that there is no contract.
Right.
And they don't need a contract because they've been given the powers, okay,
Yeah.
to charge. So,
Right.
so then I asked them, who has given you the powers to charge?
Yeah.
And again, they can't answer that.
Yeah.
Or they, you know, I think actually one time they ripped back and said under the Water Industry Act 1991, we've been given the powers to charge, but it's a statute.
Yeah.
Statute requires consent.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, me as a living man or woman, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't got a problem paying for a service giving me water which is consumable.
Yeah. Clean.
I'd go
proper water.
I'd go into a shop and I'd buy a bottle of Evian.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm paying, you know, 150 whatever for a 500
Or
ml
like you
bottle.
say, we're having to get a distiller. My distiller this week's just packed in on me. That's another £100 I've got to find now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why aren't they paying that?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
when you're using your distiller, you're
Yeah.
using your electricity.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's costing you.
Yeah. So
Post-delivery.
clean water, to get clean water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so post-delivery, what we're getting from the water boards,
Yeah.
if you're using your distiller, it's costing you money to actually have water which is fit for human consumption.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So when it comes to the customer engagement policy, okay, which all water boards are obliged to follow because
Yeah.
they're the, you know, it's the government, Ofwat.
Yeah.
It says in there what the customer is willing to pay. So that's your first argument. Well, I'm not willing to pay it while you're poisoning the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something on your side for your defence, if you like, if you're not willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, I went on to Company's House and searched Severn Trent, and I come across, now this is for people that are struggling to pay and they maybe still want to pay,
Yeah.
right? But people who are struggling to pay, it states in there on Company's House, if you go on Severn Trent Water, and this is from the CEO, Olivia Garfield, there's a statement in there, all right, where they have a policy where people are struggling, vulnerable people, okay, they can pay something like £5 a month. And there is a policy in there on that statement, but they don't elaborate that to the public.
No, of course they won't.
They don't elaborate.
No, of
to
course
the
they won't,
public.
because they're going to lose money, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my stance,
Yeah.
they're poisoning the water, they're administrating these chemicals.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not willing to pay a bean.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
I'm not willing to pay a penny, and it's costing me post delivery to distill it.
Yeah.
Okay, for me to have water which is fit for me and my family.
Can I mention something? But you told me a long time ago about the fact that they get all our water for free, comes off our roof,
Yeah.
and yet they're not paying us for what we're giving them in that
Yeah.
respect.
So what I did was, and this is a year and a half ago, I sort of got an estimated measurement of my roof.
Yeah.
And then I sent them a bill for 900 quid. And what I did was I measured the average rainfall in Coventry
Yeah.
onto the size of my roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're getting that rainwater off my property,
Yeah. And then charging.
yeah,
Yeah.
and going to their plantation, which they're
Yeah.
doing, which they're then administering these chemicals and selling it back out.
Yeah.
Well, I want a bit of that profit.
Yeah, because you've had that off me.
Now,
Yeah.
you've got the CEO, Olivia Garfield, right, who's earning
And she just had like a £5 million
bonus.
bonus,
3
something like that.
Well, I know 2022-23, she had a £3.5 million bonus.
Yeah, that might
On
be the
top
one
of-
actually. That might be the
On
one.
top of the salary.
Yeah, yeah. I read it only the other day, and I can't remember if it was 3 something or 5. Yeah,
So we all know waterfalls from the sky.
yeah,
It's in the sea, it's in the rivers. The water is free.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now the water companies say that they have the powers to charge,
yeah.
but they're not above God.
Yeah,
So
but
what
they
I-
put all the infrastructure in though, didn't they?
Yeah, they put which you don't mind paying for, which was paid for by our taxes initially,
What? So it's already paid,
already paid
paid off.
by our taxes, right?
So it's paid off.
Yeah, but in 1989, Thatcher
Yeah,
privatised.
yeah,
It went from public to private.
yeah,
So, I mean, people were obviously paying a small amount contribution for the upkeep,
the
and
upkeep
whatnot.
of everything. Yeah,
But as soon as it privatised, it went up 40%,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And they've put in no infrastructure or anything, have they?
No. I mean, they're changing all the pipes and that now, but again, you're not obligated to agree to do that. But what they're doing with these changing of the lead pipes to plastic, yes, they're changing that, but they're also putting a meter in that.
Yeah.
They're only interested in getting money out of you because
Yeah, yeah,
the water rates are going to go ridiculously high.
yeah. They reckon
25.
40% or something. I heard.
Well, whatever they're going to
Yeah,
charge.
that's what I've heard anyway. Yeah,
But it's nothing to do with we're going to change it and get rid of these lead pipes because it's better for your health.
yeah,
It's so they're putting individual meters in,
yeah, yeah,
so then they can charge you for what you're
Yeah,
using
yeah.
on an individual basis.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's all about profit. Obviously, they've got shareholders now.
yeah.
But Margaret Thatcher doing that, that's treasonous to the people. It was our water.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had no rights to sell off our water.
No.
So it's all about shareholders and profit now.
Yeah.
And as we know, since 1989, the standard of the water has deteriorated and continues to deteriorate.
And the amount of crap they're pumping into rivers and
Yeah.
everything else, polluting everything.
Raw sewage.
Something like 5,000 times in 1 year or something mental like that
Yeah.
from one company, and every company's got like loads, yeah.
That's right,
Yeah,
raw
yeah.
sewage.
Yeah, raw sewage straight in there.
So obligations to pay, you've got a moral duty
Yeah.
to you and your family to drink healthy water.
Yeah, well, of course
So
you
if
have.
they're administering poisons into your water
Yeah,
and lying to the public, even saying like we're going to administer fluoride in because it's good for your teeth and bones.
yeah.
Well, again, when you research into that, it's totally the opposite.
Well, if you see on the back of a Colgate toothpaste, it says anyone under the age of 5 or something. Don't hold me for word. If they should swallow any of this toothpaste, rush them straight to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's because of the fluoride in it.
Seek
Yeah,
medical
seek
attention.
medical attention. Yeah,
And you like if I picked up that box and I read it, I wouldn't be able to read it because it's so small.
yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah,
Nobody reads
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
when I say that to people, have a look at Colgate
yeah,
or Aquafresh,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
toothpaste you have.
yeah,
That's what it states about.
yeah. It
fluoride.
does. Yeah, it does.
So the Midlands, where we live in Coventry, they've been administering fluoride, I think, since the maybe 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
Now this fluoride is bought in now from India,
yeah,
okay, from a company in India. So it's all about business, all about
Yeah,
corporations making
yeah.
profit.
Yeah.
Now there was a study done because there are areas up north where they're not administering fluoride, and they did this study about people, sort of old people falling over and they're sort of fracturing their hips, brittle bones.
yeah,
all that
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So the fluoridated areas have a higher percentage
Of brittle bones
brittle
and things
bones.
like that. Yeah,
and bone damage
Yeah.
compared to those that are not fluoridated.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
believe me. Do your own research and you'll see that yourself.
Does it also do the Alzheimer's and stuff like that, or is that the other chemicals?
Well, if you look into the chemicals,
Yeah.
they damage the body.
Yeah. Oh,
All over.
Yeah.
It's not I mean,
Respiratory and liver, kidney, like you say, arthritis and bones and that. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right. Yeah.
No, it's not a case of just drinking it and it's going to damage it, but it's that slow period of time. Slow period of
Yeah,
time.
and they
Fight
also
it off.
reckon as well when you boil certain chemicals that's in the water, it makes it worse.
Yes.
If you're having a cup of tea and you've just boiled that water, you've sort of like zipped it up a bit,
Yes.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So for me, about obligations to pay, morally, I just wouldn't pay it. Okay.
No.
They don't. For one, they don't.
Well, they're breaking the law.
Yeah.
So if they're breaking the law, in reality, you're not supposed to support them doing that. So
Yeah.
therefore, you have an obligation not to pay.
Yeah. And
In reality.
one point I want to make where they say they have the powers to charge.
Yeah.
Well, we're a common law country.
Yeah.
Okay. Our laws are based from natural law, from God's law.
Yeah.
Now God says, okay, Revelations 22:17, I think it is. He states in there, let the man or woman come forth and take the water for free.
Yeah.
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 So that's my power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like I said, if you pay the service charge, but all these bin pipes have been put in and everything's there already, pay for your taxes,
Yeah.
and then they privatised it, and
Yeah.
it was our money.
Yeah. Well, it was all. It belonged to us to start
Exactly.
with. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got a bit of an analogy. This is probably going off topic a little bit, but even like things like road tax.
Yeah.
Now, we pay the government money, okay, for public services, because water was a public service, right?
Yeah.
Until they privatised it. So we pay the money for these services
Yeah.
already, and then they tax you on it. So if you come into my house and you say, Nick, that's a nice apple tree, can I have some